HellDivers 2 is such an interesting game because it was a game at first thought was going to be one of those hype games of mine that are good in the moment but are definitely, one of those will fall to the test of time, over the course of a very short life period. But this game I can actually see myself playing for actually a really long time. And if you don't know, I'm a very huge PVE gamer. I love PVE games as much as I probably don't show it on this channel. I love PVE games. Me and Keegan went through before Payday 3 came out. Me and Keegan went and basically got every single mission in Payday 2, completed it on the hardest difficulty so that we can get that insane mask that only a select few people plus hackers can get. And well, I love PvE games. I even got the Modern Warfare 3 just because I wanted to try out the zombies mode, not knowing I would actually like the multiplayer. But PvE as of recently has always flopped for me. If you have watched my previous videos, you'll know that one of the biggest flops was Overwatch 2 basically abandoning the whole story mode that they were going for originally. And one of the main reasons why I was so hyped for Overwatch 2 was because they were going to introduce something that I only got to see a glimpse of in the first game. And when they started to introduce it in this kind of like advertisement way in Overwatch 2, I was so hyped for the game. I did so much, but I haven't played the game since they said that they were scrapping all that ideas. With Payday 3, I had really high hopes for the game just because of how much I love Payday 2. And that also flopped on me as well. I haven't really played the game much since I beat the original set of missions. Its current playstyle isn't fun or interesting to me. And unlike, Payday 2 where there's several builds that I can go off of and play different things, I don't really like the idea of having, the whole gameplay just around like that grit and the other two like perks that you have. It was really boring to me, and I didn't really have fun playing the game. And you can obviously see people agree with me because barely anyone plays the game. In fact, I think Payday 2 has more player count, or has a higher player count than Payday 3, which is absurd. When HellDivers 2, released, I had very low hopes for it. I didn't really have the biggest respect for the game at first. I really thought, this was just going to be another PvE disaster. And you know what? It's one of the times I actually am okay with being wrong, because the more I play the game, the more I got into the game. Granted, I have a very low amount of time in game, so I don't know how long, how much I can really play of the game before I start to get bored of it. Hopefully it's close to the triple digits in hours than it is the double digits. But with the way they're treating the game, the way they're updating the game, the way they've been adding stuff to the game, and the progression system in the game, it just seems like I might be here for a very, very long time. I'm sad to say I've never tried the original HellDivers game, which is interesting because I'm a very big fan of PvE games. So not have seen that one kind of struck me as an oddity. But regardless, I'm here for HellDivers 2. I love the game. It is so much fun. And, getting past the backstory, let me go into why I like this game. One of the biggest things I love about PvE games is when you are allowed to personalize the gameplay for you. My friends know me best when I say this, that I really enjoy playing like more of a supportish summoning role in the game. Whenever I play Terraria, I always played as a summoner. Pretty much every game that has that summoning aspect to it. If I'm playing the game, I will try my hardest to be there at that, that aspect. And in HellDivers 2, I can be the engineer of the group, putting down sentries and turrets wherever I need, please. And that always gets me giddy when I can just like have these things automatically fight the war. Not saying that I don't like fighting. I genuinely love the core gameplay, the core gunfight mechanic of the game. But there's always been something with me, in particular, that I just love the cinematic look of seeing my turrets fight for me. And for instance, in this video, I think you're gonna see me use the guard dog, the mortar sentry, and the Gatling gun sentry, which is like kind of my biggest setup. Granted, I should probably play a more supportive role and have like the little supply thing on me at all times, but I just find it so much fun being able to run around and just basically do the objectives without having to think, am I gonna get attacked by an automatron or a bug? Because probably not. Probably they're already dead because a mortar hit them in the fucking head, or my Gatling gun turned them into Swiss cheese. Besides that, the game as a whole doesn't really have too much lore to it, but I love the idea of there's the community aspect of the game, that the game runs on the community coming together and making sure that there's a constant fight happening as we see these planets get taken over and conquered again. We can also see that people are, completing their missions on these planets, and we could see that as the liberation tick goes higher and higher. So it doesn't, in some PVE games, one particular is Payday 2, I kind of always felt like it was just kind of like me, or just me and Keegan, robbing a bunch of banks when there's a whole, crime net. And of course you can see when you open the crime net menu that there's all these people, robbing banks, but it always felt, because me and Keegan always just played together, or I played alone, that it was just me and him doing this together, and it was only us robbing the banks in this world. Now when I play with friends in HellDivers, or I play alone, I actually don't really feel alone, because I can see that, the liberation is far beyond me. I'm making little ticks in it, but the overall grand scheme I can see visually by us fully liberating planets. And I think, that aspect of having the community come together to fight for one common goal is something so unique to me, because I've never seen it in another video game. Literally, I actually don't think I've seen it anywhere else other than like maybe MMOs, but this is like the first time I've seen it in a video game where I'm not really a big fan of MMOs. So I just hope that this game lives a very, good life and lives long after its initial hype barrier, and I can still play this game with multiple updates, multiple factions down the line. And yeah, that's it.